I hope that you are in the right place. You're in the right place if you are intending to learn simple ways to hinder your facility team, a step-by-step approach. If that's what you're here for, I'm your guy. My name is Nathan Parr. I'm a facility specialist with Smart Church Solutions. Glad to be with you on this virtual presentation brought to you by the Church Network and their 2020 virtual conference. With everything going on in the world, I'm so thankful that we are blessed with the technology to be able to still connect, to reach out, to share, and to provide some education. As you may have discerned from the title and the description, this presentation is intended a little fun. I hope to have a little fun with this, a little tongue-in-cheek of ways to hinder your facility team, and talk about some things that we've seen over the years, working with lots of different churches and organizations, ways that their facility teams have been frustrated, have been kept down, if you will, and really hindered in performing the work that they feel led to do. And so as we go through, we're going to have a little fun. I hope so. I dressed up for this. I hope you did too. Shaved. I actually put a shirt with a collar on. I may have even put on pants. But hey, who knows, right? This new reality or temporary reality we find ourselves in, we all are just pretty much wearing t-shirts and that's it, and pajama pants everywhere else because, hey, we're working from home, we're working remotely, many of us. And so all we have to do is look good from the chest up, as long as we've got our camera settings right, and then make sure the doors are shut and try to put the notes on the doorbell saying, please don't ring the doorbell, because all of us are also getting everything delivered at this point. Regardless, whether you're still working from home, still shut down or sheltering, or if your community is open back up, I hope that you're doing well. I hope you've done well. I hope your facility and your church is doing well. So again, I thank you for being here. Thank you for clicking on this. I'm going to keep this short. There's only 8 steps in this step-by-step approach to hindering your team. So 8 steps should only take about 30 to 40 minutes per step. So, do the math, a couple, 3 hours, we'll be here together. So grab some coffee and seriously, if you think that this is going to take 8 hours or that I would do that, 3 hours. Okay. Again, you gotta catch my humor and understand that I'm presenting this video, and a lot of times during my sessions, I like to use humor. I like to have good interaction back and forth. I also like to tell you that I tell jokes. Many of them are bad. The less that you interact or laugh or work with it, the worse they get. Since this is a video recording, I will not subject you to all of the bad jokes and all of the worst things. But I do want to thank you for being here. Again, participate. And if you feel like yelling at the screen, I do it all the time. Drives my kids nuts. Yell at the TV, yell at the movie. Ask them why are they doing that. Constantly talking back to commercials. So feel free. Talk back here. We're virtual. So you're not going to hurt my feelings. I'm not going to hear it anyway. So thank you for being here, and let's jump right in and start talking about simple ways to hinder your facility team, a step-by-step approach. Step 1, as the step implies, this is a very important step. It's the first step. When we think about ways to hinder our team, it always will start with communication. Communication will create the foundation that will determine how well we can hinder progress and frustrate our team as they go about their day-to-day operations. When we think about communication, obviously we're thinking about how we talk to people, how we relay information, what it means. And we always understand, and again, as we talk through this presentation, we'll get some motivational sayings up there for you to pull and share with your team. And remember that almost every major mistake in the facility will be caused by a group of folks who've convinced themselves that they considered everything. And maybe you did. Maybe you considered everything. But if you're being effective in hindering your team, regardless of you considering everything, you're not sharing it. Because good communication would lead to effective and efficient teams that would not help us hinder. So when we consider communication and how we can use it to hinder our team, it starts with being poor at it, being a not good communicator, right? Why did I go to next? I don't know. It's just what I do. Being a poor communicator, practicing poor communication, sharing things that are irrelevant, making sure we don't tell people on time, getting loud and angry for no reason, not paying attention to how the other person would like to receive communication. That's a good one. You know, I have certain ways I like to receive communication and give communication. Most people will have their own unique way because we're all individual, we're all unique. But if we make sure that we just bull right through and never acknowledge the fact that someone else may need to receive or give communication differently than us, then we can certainly offend them, we can hurt their feelings, we can do it. And then we always have the excuse of saying, you know, those great words that shut down people actually working together, which is, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it that way. I said it, you felt it, but if I say I didn't mean it that way, I can diminish the validity of your claim, try to make myself feel better, and create conflict, right? So if I practice and engage in poor communication, that's one way. We can also ensure that there's a lack of communication, especially the important details. When we consider our facility teams and what they're doing, many times they're one of the first people there. They're there throughout the day, handling all day-to-day operational stuff, getting stuff ready, cleaning stuff, and they're many times one of the last people to leave the facility. So they're there all the time. Everything that occurs generally is impacted in some shape, form, or fashion by the facility team. Now, granted, here recently, with many organizations going to virtual online meetings, there's been there's been a lot of facilities not being used. Not everyone can be reused or part of the community or needed in the community, so many of us did have to shut down facilities. But in normal times, we know they're going to be there. So if we don't share the important details, we can always make sure that they don't know what's going on, which makes a lot of sense if we're talking about hindering the people who are there, who are opening up and doing the things. If they don't know what's going on, then it's much easier to hinder them. We can also be inconsistent with how we communicate and sharing that communication. And so what do I mean by being inconsistent? Well, maybe sometimes we just leave a note somewhere randomly, like on a whiteboard, in a room that wasn't set up correctly, that we reorganized, and we just leave a note that says, this wasn't right. Maybe we just yell at someone as we pass in the hallway. Maybe we send an email and include the supervisors and say, you know what, I'm tired of this, you're not doing it right. Not telling them what they need to do right, just telling them they didn't do it right. And make sure that how we relay the information, the tone that we use, the manner that we use it is never the same one way to the other, and it's always different for each individual. That way they can never anticipate and understand, okay, this is a learning, communication I'm learning from, this is this is that. That way it just creates confusion so that they can't actually make progress on improvement. And then certainly, as we consider the importance of the events, the support that they're providing, the cleaning up, the maintenance, if we're late in communicating changes, that certainly helps in hindering our team. Things change. We know that. We all know that. Is we're going to say we're always hear that in church work, right? Things change. That's one thing that's consistent. Is nothing remains consistent. Although we do tend to like the phrase "we've always done it that way," then we always like to change things. So maybe that's how we've always done it. We've always done it differently. I don't know. But if we're late in communicating the changes, that presents this conflict within our teams of, okay, I have time to get ahead of the game. Maybe I can clean this room and then set it up for the next event. But I know that there's going to be a change, and I know I'm not going to get it till 15 minutes prior, and I'm going to have to try to change the room and reset the room while people are already coming in. That way they're upset with me, like I was slow on my job. It had nothing to do with the fact that you changed the setup and you asked me to do it while I was already engaged on the other side of campus. So if we're always late in communicating changes, it ensures that our team always feels under pressure, that they always feel slightly embarrassed because they're having to work and set things up in front of people. And they're not motivated to set things up ahead of time and to be prepared. So that is certainly, and that's why it is step one in communicating. It always starts with that. Make sure they don't know and keep them on their toes. Step 2.